My job at the United Nations is to communicate about the state of our world and also to advocate for a better one. And that is by promoting peaceful, sustainable, and humane societies and also a healthier planet for our world. I have to say, though, that year by year, that job is growing harder and harder. Ever since social media became a dominant information source for people, we have witnessed how misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech is polluting our information ecosystems. And disinformation actors having mass distribution tools to circulate disruptive narratives. I mean, these are the same who might have been screaming in a park before with an audience of 3, now have the ability to reach thousands, if not millions of people, and also to attack people using AI-fueled tools. So we're going to talk about AI today, but also just to acknowledge that it's been with us for a long time on social media platforms, including the AI-fueled algorithms that are designed to prioritize user engagement, to amplify posts that generate outrage. And all too often, those posts that generate outrage contain hate speech and other disarming content, including conspiracy theories. And by design, these algorithms also limit the reach of factual and reliable information, including that from the United Nations. I would like to echo, we are at the UN looking at the promise of AI, and particularly, as you said, in the healthcare area. You know, in parts of the world, healthcare could become much more accessible. Diagnoses and efficiency could be better, more personalized support, and even it could facilitate access to information, education, free expression. But the rapid rise really in the information integrity community, and there is real alarm bells are going off because we're seeing new tools capable of supercharging information harms in multiple fields, affecting the health of our societies and including in the realm of public health. So while those of us who do communications for a living have had to get much more strategic in how we communicate, also, more effective, we are in a race with disinformation actors, depending on the topic. Sometimes they're much better funded than we are, and who are seizing much more sophisticated tools. Unfortunately, new tools powered by generative AI are making this content ever easier to produce. And, until recently, it did require significant investment. Manpower, influencer networks, these were all expensive. But generative AI tools have lifted these costs and also these manpower barriers. And so, large volumes of convincing disinformation can be created at scale. And many of you who are going into the communications profession or public health profession or science, that we must communicate better for the world that we are trying to make better. And our work, obviously, is not easy. It requires explaining complex science around issues that have become polarizing to many. And science is also not black and white, as disinformation actors have the liberty when they create their content to make people believe. So the UN isn't sitting idly by, and others too. I thought this was incredible. The World Economic Forum at this year's meeting identified, they always have this kind of list of the world's biggest threats ahead of their meeting, and they identified AI-generated mis and disinformation as the world's greatest threat, followed by climate change, saying that large-scale AI models have already enabled an explosion of falsified information. So we really need to address this. The Secretary General of the UN is made it crystal clear we can't go on like this. These threats to information integrity are a global challenge, and they require a global response to build resilience against them. And the UN is putting together we have an AI advisory board of the Secretary General that's calling for a closer alignment with international norms with how AI is developed and rolled out. And also member states of the UN are pushing for action. And last month, there was a General Assembly resolution, a landmark resolution, I will say, calling for the promotion of a safe, secure, and trustworthy AI systems. And really that they will respect, protect, and promote human rights. And that's really the core of it. And at the same time, just to say that my department has been tasked with developing a code of conduct on information integrity, a UN code of conduct. And this code, which is going to be released in June, represents a push for coordinated international action to make the digital space overall more safe, more inclusive, and while vigorously protecting human rights, holding digital platforms to account, and encouraging them to live up to their own standards so that they stop rewarding and incentivizing harmful content and to push back against the proliferation of disinformation and hate. And we can become the masters of the algorithm. There are more of us than them, and thank you. Let's reclaim the conversation together.